UBC Radio Network, your national preferred choice. We broadcast all over Uganda and beyond. Join us on 98 FM in Kampala, 99.4 FM Lira, and 97.4 FM Arua. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
Your voice, your platform for exchange of views on topical issues that concern you and our nation.
It is therefore quite comic and laughable to hear of some actors in the world giving us lectures about democracy. You give me a lecture about democracy? What are your own credentials?
Join us Monday to Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. as we tackle issues of national interest.
Mahatma Gandhi was a hero for India, but was so much of a hero to the Africans who were struggling to have the liberation. Nelson Mandela was a hero to the South Africans, but more so to the Africans, and more so to the entire world, about how you can fight freedom without actually having to hold the gun yourself and fight. So it all depends. It can be global, it can be regional, it can be national, it can be communal, and it can be family.
Your voice, only on UBC Radio. Inspiring Uganda.
This is your voice program on UBC Radio. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome to your voice radio program this 7th day of March 2023. It is just hours to the International Women's Day. National celebrations are underway in Kirhura District, Greater Mbarara. Tonight, we have a special coverage for the upcoming event, and we engage quite a number of people to talk to us about this event, the International Women's Day, all after the break.
At UBC Radio, all our radio network across the country is committed to inform, entertain, educate and guide for national transformation.
Our own radio, UBC, should set its own example. Leka bano abatafa ku bantu baffe bagumaza ndowooza muganda hito kugumaza to divert people. Let our own UBC bring programs to educate the people so that abagala kugumaza babereyo bagumaza naye naffe they can advise, guide. And people in time will judge the one who is their friend and who is just using them.
Tune into UBC Radios for credible socio-economic programs. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This is UBC Radio, the home of inspiration.
You're listening to your voice program on UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome back from the break. I am Henry Baguma, Iga Masajage, Ainum Cimenta, and Herbert Chigundu, together with Bob Brown Mugisha, to take you to the next level. As you may be aware, tomorrow is International Women's Day. All is set for the activities to take place in Kirhura. In a build-up to the event, we visited Nakawa Division in Kampala, from where we spoke with the Deputy Speaker Nakawa and a councillor about their opinion focusing on International Women's Day.
My name is Nalwama Jalia. The area woman representative for Chanjia Parish and the Deputy Speaker for Nakawa Division Urban Council.
All right. So talk to me about the population of female councillors here and what is their main role?
We are 36 women representatives in Nakawa, and of course our main role is to represent the people. We don't specify whether to represent women or male or youth. We represent all.
All right. Let me have another officer here in Nakawa. Sir, your name, what do you do in Nakawa, and what do you think about the issue of women here in Nakawa?
My name is Mwanje Ben, a councillor representing Bukoto Tutu. What I can say for the National Women's Day, the women were left out of this program. First, the local leaders. If you don't know what is going on, all our women are there, they don't know. As a division, we don't have any budget to celebrate our Women's Day.
Sure.
We are here struggling people are saying National Women's Day. Our women they don't know anything about going up or about that program now.
So there's no budget at all for the women specifically for this event. I'm surprised about this. Let me get from the deputy.
As the Nakawa Division women representatives, we surely left out. We don't know anything that is going on. It's us, the leaders, who try to engage our communities, plan accordingly, and we see how we can get back to our women in the areas that we represent.
But how then are you going to popularize or promote issues of women if you have no funds at all?
We've tried from the little allowances that we get as councillors. We try to utilize it efficiently and give back to the communities, or even some other lobby. If at all the lobbying becomes out positive, yes, that's how we try to get back to the women that we represent in council.
Yes, let me get to the female man here. The male person here. What do you think about the issue of women in Uganda? Are they given enough, or there's a lot missing?
The women are missing many something because that now the women who have the women in powers, like with the leadership, like we have the vice president, we have the speaker, we have the ministers, but the women is on the ground. They left out. There is nothing at the ground.
Okay. Finally, Madam Speaker, what are the challenges facing women here in Nakawa when you go around and listen to them talking? What are the common issues they talk to you?
First of all, I'm glad that we're given a chance to represent our people and raising the voices about women. But the main challenge that we face as leaders of Nakawa, on behalf of my other fellow women councillors, of course, it's nature, women get pregnant. And after giving birth, we left out. They don't have any room where they can put the baby to come and represent the people. That implies she has to be home for close to 5 months, then to come and represent which is a very big setback when it comes to a leader. Yes,
finally, International Women's Day, which is on 8th March, and the National Day is in Kirhura. How important is this day, Madam and Sir? Let me start with the man.
National Women's Day, the woman was left out because this is National Women's Day. People are enjoying the higher level, but on the ground, no one knows that there is also the Women's Day. The women are left out. It is only the higher leaders which should be going and celebrate, enjoying.
Okay, your name again?
My name is Mwanje Ben, council representing Bukoto Tutu.
Okay, Madam, how important is International Women's Day?
The government, the president has tried to raise women up. We're given positions like the speaker, the vice president. Yeah, it's a good thing that we represented and we appreciated. But women on ground are left out. They don't know anything concerning women. Thank God we represented up, but then down. We so much left behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it has been pure at central level, not decentralized at all.
Yes, we left out. Women on ground are surely left out, and we also don't have enough funds to try to explain to them what is really happening.
So what should be done in your view?
First of all, I think they should first empower the local leaders. For example, when you empower the Nabachalas on the local level, Nabachalas always have time to spend with their women. So when they are empowered and given enough funds, women at the lower levels can get to know about what International Women's Day is. But if it's left at the central and upper level, those people don't have time to come to the lower stages to talk to those women. So let them first empower the women, the Nabachalas, and then the LC3 women representatives. Okay. That will close the gap.
Nakawa Division Councillors talking about International Women's Day. And now, let's cross over to Uganda Prison Services, Luzira, and here we engaged the Commandant, Uganda Prisons Training College, to talk to us about the day.
My name is Brenda Sana. I'm an Assistant Commissioner of Prisons. and I'm the commandant of the Prisons Academy and Training School. Women in security?
Yes.
Yeah, it is not as challenging as people think. And it's also an honor that we are given equal opportunities with our men as long as you compete favorably. Okay. And as we know, in the world, it's men and women. So even security, we need sometimes the gender angle to balance out things. Yes.
So is there any reason why you should have a women's wing in prison services and security in general?
Yes, it is important because there are people who come in, we get people of both sexes, male and female. So there are some times where we have, say, female prisoners, they have special needs. So women in security have to be there to cater for the special needs of women. Plus also to show that we can do the work that the men do. For example, I'm not in a female wing. I'm in the training school, which has both men and women. So just to show the world that we too can do the job, just like the men.
Do you have special consideration, for example, when you're recruiting staff? You say this is a lady, this is a woman, this is a man, I don't know. Do you have a special entry points for women?
Now, the government as a whole has a 1/3 in government affirmative action. In deployments, women have to be a third. However, for Uganda Prison Service, we recruit women according to the number of prisoners we have. So nationally, the number of prisoners are very few compared to the men. Men could be almost 95%. There are very few female prisoners. So we also recruit women in line with the percentage of female prisoners that we have.
Okay.
Yes, but we aim at the 30%.
What's the special assignment women have in Uganda Prison Services, for example, Madam?
Women may not have a special assignment because, as I said, the work I'm doing, even men do it. Only that in women prisons which keep female prisoners, it is only women who work there. So for that one, the assignment for women is only in female prisoners. But even in other areas, like for example, Kampala Extra Region, the regional commander is a woman, and there are also other women in different positions.
Prisons Commissioner Brenda Sana of Uganda Prison Services now talking to us there. Now, still in prisons, they engaged the UMI and Makerere University to support their first intermediary course. It is being conducted at the Prisons Training Center. We spoke with one of the facilitators, Dr. Julius Atukwasiwe, about this event and women in prisons.
I'm called Dr. Juliet Atukwasiwe. I'm from Uganda Management Institute. I am here to train the prisons staff, and I'll be their course manager to make sure that we take them through this training for the next 16 weeks.
So what sort of training, Madam, do you offer here?
My trains in leadership and management. We are training the prison officers in leadership and management and how to properly handle the prison's activities, how to handle a prisoner to conclusion with empathy, humanity, and ensuring that at the end of the day, the prisoner is rehabilitated.
So is this a security training or an academic training?
No, it's academic training that will help the prison officers. No security, it is academic, to give them competence-based skills on how to manage the prisons and how to manage their clients in the prison. Yes.
So at the end of the day, how does your products look like in the field?
Managers, we have products that managers, they are empathetic, they know how to solve problems without over consulting, and they know how to give a human face to whatever activity that is given to them to do. Yes.
Madam, apart from the prison services, which other government sectors are you rendering support staff?
We have trained the police officers at Webaja. We are training the senior commandants in Chimaka. So we are into prison, police, and army. We have rendered services on those all areas. But UMI renders services to all public and private workers to train them in management so that they can become better managers, and we hope this Uganda to be a better country.
This course has come at a time we are celebrating International Women's Day, so I'd like also to take you within that context. Talk to me about a Ugandan woman and management.
Management starts at home, and the home is made by a woman, and when women come into management, we become better managers. So we are proud to have several female prison officers that are going to be trained. As we celebrate the Women's Day, we are proud that we're empowering the woman to become a better manager and to help to manage this country. Thank you. Yes.
There was an independent research conducted which indicates that women are more peaceful people, peacemakers. I want to understand whether this research could be correct at all. Do you think women have a role to play in peacemaking?
Yes, peace starts with the woman. It is the woman who has the ability to contain everything. And if the woman can become peaceful, the home becomes peaceful. The society will become peaceful, the children will become peaceful, and we live a peaceful life. Peace starts with us, the women.
Okay.
Thank you.
What is your message as we celebrate International Women's Day?
As we celebrate International Women's Day, I'm telling all the women out there, please be peacemakers, please be good managers, please be exemplary, so that we have a country that we are proud of.
Yes, your name again?
I am Dr. Juliet Atwebembire. I work with Uganda Management Institute.
But what about women and journalism? Let's have a senior journalist and lawyer to talk to us about this sector.
My name is Kiva Joseph. I'm a lecturer in the School of Journalism, Media and Communication at Uganda Christian University.
Uganda Christian University, where is it based?
Uganda Christian University, the main branch is in Mukono, but we have constituent colleges, like we have Kabale, we have Kampala, we have Vumbale, and we have Arua. It's owned by the church, the Anglican Church of Uganda.
Okay, it's owned by Church of Uganda, which means a Muslim is not allowed, and Protestants, for example?
No, all religions are allowed, but why I stressed that is that it was founded by the Anglican Church of Uganda, because the vision bearer was the late Archbishop Livingstone Mpalanyi-Nkoyo, who was the Archbishop of the Anglican Church of Uganda. But it's open to all religious denominations.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We are discussing International Women's Day, and I will limit myself to that subject. Of course, in future, you'll come and talk to us. I want you, as a lecturer, talk to me about women in journalism. What's your view?
I think in that aspect, women have come a long way. I think previously the journalism sector has been dominated by men or the males, but women are coming up and they are taking up really positions. We have people who are media managers, we have editors, we have sub-editors, we have reporters, we have also professors who are women in journalism and communication. And I can see the way things are now. If we go to this, with this kind of speed we are going, women are taking over, and I'm sure that is really good for them, since they have been so much sidelined, and now they are coming up and then taking up really important positions in the journalism sector.
Okay, I know you are not a spokesperson, but looking at your institution alone, UCU, how would you position women journalists, those interested in taking on journalism? Do you have more women coming up, more girls, more student girls coming up, or it is, by the way, let me just join journalism? Do you think they're serious in entering journalism as women?
Yeah, it is, and I must say that it has not just started, because even I remember during my time when I was still a student at Uganda Christian University, doing a Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication, that was 2007 to 2010, we had more women in my class, and still now we have more women in our classes, and there are many of them who really want to take on the journalism path. Even though some of them there are also those who think that they need to do communication. Probably journalism is a bit heavy lifting, but the enthusiasm and the passion for it is really growing. Yeah.
So let's go beyond your classroom. Look at UCU as a university itself. When you look in the compound and the board meetings here and there, how would you rate women vis-a-vis men students, female versus male students?
I think I see more female than male. Probably I haven't. I need to.
You have not taken that critical eye.
To take a critical eye, but I really get so much focused on the students we have in our school, and that could have been my generalization, because I see more women than the male in all the classes we have.
So, sir, we are celebrating International Women's Day. Some people are saying maybe it has overstayed. It's time to stop it. Do you think it is necessary to continue celebrating International Women's Day, even given what you are now explaining?
I think we need to do, because I'm sure it was put there for a purpose. Probably before, women were looked at to be in the kitchen, to be to start home, to be home cooking, raising children, giving birth, etc. But now they also contribute something on the table, and you find in some homes it's even the women who probably are contributing more in the home. So we need to celebrate them. They have moved away from where they were, and then they are up there. Look at the kind of women we have in Uganda. When we talk about who is the vice president, you know who she is. If we talk about the Speaker of Parliament, you know who she is. If you talk about the Prime Minister, you know, I don't know if it's the first or second Deputy Prime Minister, and who is the one in UNRWA. So they have taken up so many leading positions, and then they are driving sectors that probably originally were for men. So they are really doing a great job. So we need to celebrate them. And
so are we celebrating the achievements or creating awareness?
Well, that can be a two-sided coin. We need to celebrate their achievements, the fact they have come, and where they are going. But also celebrate them as individuals that probably remember when what happened in the Bible when Adam was created, and then God saw that Adam was alone and he needed a companion. So we need to celebrate them as people who are like our shock absorbers in different spheres of life. You have a reason to go home to find someone who's going to welcome you from that tiring day. For example, if I'm spending the entire day in Kampala today, moving up and down, I know for sure by the time I get home at around 6, I'll find my wife to welcome me home, to give me a juice, and then all those scorching sun in Kampala, Chanja, I'll forget about it.
So you see women progressing very, very fast in the country today as we speak.
I can't say fast because I don't have the
because they have jumped on to every single thing. There's nothing now reserved for men alone.
No, I think there is.
And even the bad side, I'm hearing of some women involved in negative things like robberies.
I think they are not.
Because at one time it was rare to hear a woman, for example, caught stealing.
Yeah, but we shouldn't generalize, because even the men do steal, but not all men. So they are not moving very, very fast. But I think the dynamics of the world are changing. Things are changing. They are not the way they used to be in the 80s, in the 90s. Probably the cost of living is high. So if both the man and the woman at home work, probably you'll see how you're going to foot the bills of home, other than being maybe a man alone and you're doing everything. And they are not just doing office or I call collar jobs. You have seen people, ladies or women working on the streets, preparing cassava, selling food, selling bananas, because they want to contribute something.
But also they keep the economy.
Yeah, they
can you imagine if they went on strike, all women went on strike, what would happen? For example, Mukono and Kampala.
I'm sure so many other things will be crippled down. So they are doing contributions, but I think the only problem we have is that we tend to look at these women who are really, really high there, and we forget what I may call the women of Bantu ba wansi abatulira ddala ku ttaka. Those women who do petty things but also contribute to the well-being of men.
Yeah, thank you very much. Time is no longer in our favor, but let's conclude again with your journalism and UCU. When women come in, for example, this is any difference that this is a woman, this is a female, this is it is general that it comes up anytime. Is there a situation where you may think it is because he's a lady?
Like in what kind of situation?
Deployment, action, is question time.
No, I think now the kind of people we have, very people who apply for journalism and communication at UCU are very, very passionate young people who know what they want, are very, very assertive, and very, very inquisitive, and also have creative minds and they aspire to be somewhere. And of course, since we work in a team, if you identify people who are not really, because we are different people gifted differently, if you identify people who need help, then you're going to have to give some bit of special attention to that person, but also probably to pair up that person with someone who is kind of moving a bit fast, and probably who is kind of in a technical know-how of different aspects, such that you balance the equilibrium, and then you don't just want to leave the other person down because he's a slow learner. Every one of us is gifted differently, and we learn differently. So you just see how do you need to help to ensure that this person is also able to achieve. Because if people didn't help us, some of us probably wouldn't have been where we are. So you need to see how to help someone who may not be moving as fast as probably you want.
Thank you very much for being with me. Your name again and what you do, and maybe your final message as you celebrate International Women's Day. Start with your name.
My name is Kiva Joseph. I'm a lecturer in the School of Journalism, Media and Communication, but also coordinator for outreach and community engagement in the school at Uganda Christian University. I just want to add my voice to say that we celebrate women because, for example, I was brought up by a woman who died last year at the age of 91. She started being with me when I was learning how to walk, and she was my center of everything. So we celebrate you. You do amazing things for us. You're that kind of, they say behind every successful man there is a woman, and it's not just a cliche, but that is true. So we celebrate you.
We spoke with Kimono, a senior journalist and legal expert, about the issue of women in the media.
My name is Godfrey Kimono, a senior journalist. I've actually been a journalist for the last 18 years.
Okay.
Women today can do any job. Women professionals, women are very good in journalists. They can actually write. When you look out at articles written by the Barbara Amongs, the Esther Namugojis, we'll talk about even our now current minister, who is in the minister for the
Karamoja.
No, not Karamoja. Actually, Karamoja also very good. Agnes Nandutu.
Yes.
You see, these have been good, very, very, very good journalists who have actually brought Uganda to the limelight, and they've actually done their best to see that they address issues that affect actually our community. Agnes Nandutu was addressing the plight of women in Karamoja, for example. Women have actually not let us down. I remember some of the monitor journalists who used to cover the war in northern Uganda during yes. Those were real serious women. So you cannot just downlook them in the, as far as contributing to development.
So
and
you
peace
think
and security in
you think
communities.
women are doing well in the media?
Yes, women are actually doing well. However, of course, there are other few challenges that they encounter or go through as women. For example, some of the men actually look out at them as sex idols or models.
Yes, I was about to ask about sex harassment, and some, because I'm told of stories where some women are being embarrassed by their would-be hosts.
Yes, it has actually come to the attention of some of the media. For example, when we were in the newsroom at New Vision, we had women come and complain about that because they would actually express their desires not to cover certain people, because when they go there, they would actually harass them. And these, by the way, are not just, sometimes are not even young people or small people. They are even include ministers. So ministers and some top officials. Remember, as a journalist, you deal with different people. You deal with different sources. For example, you leave home, you don't know where you're going to work, and before you know, before this source, who actually looks at you not as a person who has come to take the story, but as a woman he would actually want to sleep with. I have actually seen so many women come and complain that actually they went to cover a story, and instead the men were offering too much money to just take them to for trips, maybe to Dubai and other places, and even to just have a holiday with them. But these are married women, so these are challenges that some of these women go through. Besides the sex side of it, we also look out at the aspect of the other challenges, work hazards that women have gone through. I had a colleague, of course, they would call it welcome to journalism. But I remember during the Owino fires, the girls we had actually, I had a colleague of mine called Karo Batenga. We had actually gone to cover together. But in the process of covering, the smoke, because it was the fire had actually gone down, but the smoke was too much. She discovered she had gone so much deep into the places where there was fire and ashes, and they were hot. So the heat actually destabilized her. She could not see. She got the camera and threw it down. It was one of our colleagues called actually Roderick Ahimbaze who had to pick the camera. But at that point, he was actually swearing never to go back to this Cividamu. You know, but these are work hazards that this kind of girls actually and women go through.
I wanted to understand, do you think there are some specific areas where women should not go at all? For example, you talk about battlefield, you talk about disasters and fires and floods, for instance, in your areas in eastern Uganda. Would it be fair for a woman reporter to be deployed to such an area?
I think the fact that we are in a society where everything is balanced, where men and women are all equal, we don't have any problem, because we've been in the newsroom where women have actually been deployed in those war-torn areas. You talk about those girls who were actually covering this. I went with one of the ladies to Somalia to cover our police and army battalions in Mogadishu. For example, we were there and we did some good work. We went to the battlefields. We were in those cafeterias actually moving around Somalia to Baidoa and every other area. But what I want to say is that we should not discriminate these women because they are unable. These women can do work just like any other person. They are like men, they are like women who are strong. It doesn't matter. A man can actually fail and a woman go through in that area, even in the war-torn areas. We had women who would walk kilometers, while for us we were actually sweating. For them, they were very, very strong and moving. So I believe women can actually do something good. Yeah.
So women in other fields apart from journalism, talk to me about women in other general fields. For example, look at women in politics. Is there a difference at all?
There has not been a very big difference. Women have been very good debaters. I would want to praise them. First of all, they have this motherly touch that every person cannot, not all of us men can actually take in as in our society. We see things different from what women see. Where you see that you are arrogant maybe as a man and you want to milk money out of that, a woman will actually see the plight of that person and how she could actually have to intervene and then bring kind of peace and harmony to these people. For example, I would discuss very well on the issue of our Prime Minister, the current Mama Nabanja. When she intervened in the plight of this lady in Kasubi, the men were there, and actually this was a man who was harassing this old woman who doesn't have anything to eat, and he was actually throwing her out of the house. But the intervention of a motherly Prime Minister was actually it was actually timely. I commend her for that, and I commend her for her intervening in most of these things that actually, for example, in Masaka, the Minister for Lands actually intervened. And Mama Nabanja has also intervened. In talk of Honorable Nabakova. Yes. So these people, the women are actually leading, and the men are actually following. We would just like to thank, actually, for example, His Excellency, who has played a key role in bringing these women forward. The women have actually moved away from the would-be kitchen, like my mother used to be. She was a housewife. You remember even professors, the so-called professors and land people, most of them had women who were actually housewives, typical housewives. But now women have actually come up to the forefront where they can actually contribute the so-called money on the table for to improve on the standards of living in the home and put something on the table. So that in most cases they don't have to only depend on you as a man, but a woman can actually sustain a family without even a man. Reason is they work and make money just like any other man. However, a few challenges would need to be addressed. For example, our women in the forces, some of them have actually
I wanted to look at the women in peace missions.
Yes, women in peace missions, I would want to throw a few lights. I wonder why they would, why actually some of these women, we have very few women being deployed as compared to number of men. For example, we have very, very, very few women compared to the number of men that are deployed on these peacekeeping missions. But yet, these women can also do normal work just like men. I have actually seen Ghanaians who are women in Mogadishu.
Yes, you have been to Somalia yourself as a journalist, first of all. But when you look at the Ugandan women in Somalia operations, what exactly is their main role? Or they simply sit around at table, prepare food for the men? Special assignment actually, I mean, are they also in combat? What exactly are they doing in Mogadishu?
Women in Mogadishu are doing normal combat work, like, and however, I would not say real combat work because it's more of a peacekeeping mission of recent. However, with where there are issues of wars and insurgencies, of course, you don't expect it to be very peaceful. They also do combat work. You find them armed. They have bulletproofs on, 10 to 15 kilograms on their vests, bulletproof vests. Put on by these women, and they are, you find them in cafeteria, moving from area to area.
So you seem to say right now, men and women are equal right now. They are on the same equal footing.
I exactly, I would say men and women are on the same footing, even if there are other challenges that we would need to address to help them actually come on board properly. For example, I was actually trying to highlight women in combat and women in security. For example, some of them are actually deployed at night, and yet they are mothers. They have mothers. They have children. I mean, they are mothers. They have children to look after. So this should actually be looked into to help them do their work diligently. Then actually getting some of these women and then deploying them in far to reach areas. For example, a woman who has her children in Kampala and has her whole family in Kampala, being deployed because she works for government or she works for the forces, and they say you were actually recruited for the forces of Uganda, not for a specific district. These are actually challenges because a person who has been deployed in a far to reach area, leaving a family behind, will not have a settled mind. I wonder what kind of work we will be helping actually in terms of improving human resource. How you would handle them? But I expect our supervisors and maybe the HR team and others to look through these HR policies where you actually consider most of these mothers, because they are mothers who have families to look after. Sometimes their husbands are not actually close, so they should be helped to enable them do their work well without being torn in between while she's very far away. The children are actually crying. She's not so sure how her children are, and you know what, with mothers, their heart lies to their family and children. So we should help them do their work diligently. Yes.
So let's wind up with domestic violence, and this is more attributed to women. And also there, let's look at the Ugandan laws. Are they enough to protect the Ugandan woman, or you think they are over-favoring the women? For example, inheritance law, land law, all these type of things. Since also you did some law.
Thank you so much. Uganda has the best laws, I would say, I think, in now Africa. Uganda has the best laws. However, these laws have not been implemented well. Implementation is there, but the people who are the implementers themselves are actually doing us a disservice. Domestic violence is still on the rise, and yet it's condemned. The law criminalizes it. The penal code, for example, criminalizes that. So I would say women should be protected, and they are protected under the law. But all we need is that the implementation of these laws should be effective. Yes.
Yes, for example, the inheritance law where a man passes on and the property is given to children. I haven't seen much about women really in the family when it comes to such situations.
A woman has a percentage as a widow in the Succession Act. Even when the new amendment still talks about the same. As a widow, you have a percentage. If a widow is also an administrator, she also gets a percentage as an administrator. So the percentage of being a widow plus the percentage of being an administrator will actually take precedence before you even look out at the other benefits of that person as a lady. So a woman is considered like any other person, irrespective, especially the new Succession Act. The new Succession Act is protecting so much of the victims of land grabbing, who actually were mostly women and orphans. For example, currently you cannot go ahead and transfer land through an administrator without the consent of the would-be beneficiaries, because the administrators are holding this property in trust of the beneficiaries. Now, this brings us to why the object of why that law was put in place. Previously, administrators who were even sons and sometimes were even fraudsters would grab letters of administration and then immediately dispose of the whole estate to land dealers, and the women will be thrown out. The current law is very effective. That's why I'm saying it's very effective, and it protects women and children, or they would be beneficiaries. So I would say, of course, there are so many loopholes where there is a lacuna in the law. People, of course, want to manipulate around. Someone comes and claims that all the beneficiaries died. But all this is to try, you people who are in these offices actually have to keep an eye and ensure they demand that procedurally, before any of these properties are actually transferred or given away, the right procedure is taken into consideration. For example, ensure there is consent, ensure that consent from the beneficiaries, ensure that someone, for example, has actually submitted a petition, which would show who are the would be beneficiaries in this kind of line. Then you would also ask or require these people to produce an inventory, because the inventory will actually show us how the properties have been distributed. If Mr. Baguma is an administrator and he's selling the land to Kimono or Godfrey, who is not part of the family, then consent from all the beneficiaries must, even if there are 10,000, please bring them. Bring your lorry, put them there, let them sign willingly and freely without coercion. So this like I said, I would come back to my first point or emphasis that Uganda has the best laws. However, what is being done is we need people who are effective, who know what to implement, and who have actually a heart to implement these laws.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's also finally wind up with the cultural laws. You come from Elgon region, I do understand. Talk to me about the cultural laws in Elgon region and how they treat women, for example, cases of inheritance, cases of circumcision, all these type of things.
Thank you so much. We're talking about inheritance. Previously, women were not they were looked at as property. In my culture, previously, a woman would not have a say. Everything, the properties and everything were for a man. Currently, it's actually changed. No. Currently, children are children, whether girls or boys. They all inherit the same. I am actually so surprised that nowadays I'm actually so amazed that why I went back and also did some bit of law was to actually try and empower women to know their rights as women. However, and then especially to try and help even the orphans who are actually being oppressed by these so-called big people. Now, in Bugisu, for example, that culture of saying a woman is a woman does not speak is actually gone. Long ago. Gone are the days where women would sit in the kitchen and only cook food for the men, who would actually ask for eggs and the fatty places, the fatty parts of the chicken, and deny these women the same.
How do you not supposed to eat chicken in some tribes?
Yes. Now,
are you aware of that?
Yes, of course I am. But those are cultural beliefs and patriarchal kind of behaviors. Now, women do the same. They eat chicken without any discrimination. They do all they want. They are free to go to schools, which was not the case in those days. Women were actually denied to go to school because they said as you're educating a woman, you'll be educating a wife of another culture, or another clan. And a man who was seen as a person who was going to bring riches in the home. It's no longer the same. Women are actually helping their families. So the culture has actually changed. The norms in which people used to look out at women is actually changed because currently women work and there is no way to look out them in a feminist way. They are actually active in politics. Talk about the leaders. They are very active. We talk about Mama Kadaga here. Talk about in Bugisu. In Bugisu, we have so many women who have actually come to the forefront, to the limelight. Besides men, women have actually beaten men in politics. So that means the culture of oppressing women and looking at them as housewives and people who are behind is no more. So women are now equal. However, what we need is to bring more women on board. We need to empower them a lot because some of these girls, especially the young girls, go through a lot of challenges that sometimes the boys don't do. Yes.
Yeah, because I was about to ask, given this background knowledge you have given me, is there for need for affirmative action anymore?
Yes, we need affirmative action. But you see, when you talk about affirmative action depends on which you see, it's like putting a weighing scale in a balance on a weighing scale. If you ever put 2 stones on this other side, of course it will lift the other side. Now, affirmative action needs to be taken in consideration carefully. I would give an instance of 1 year, particular year, when we had, because of affirmative action, the 1.5 points that were added on the girls. Makerere Law School had only admitted girls and there was no single boy. So instead, the affirmative action was needed in order to bring men on board, or the boys also on board. Otherwise, it was only going to be women. Girls had performed well and the boys had performed well. Now, when they added 1.5 to the girls, which was an affirmative action, all the numbers who were being admitted at law school were girls, no boys. So this, in actual sense, the affirmative action now we needed there was on the side of the boys. So while we handle affirmative action, we should handle it with care, because an affirmative action can never be forever affirmative action for only girls. When we realize that the scale is now moving properly or balancing, then we need to find measures that control it to that point without affecting the other parties.
Okay.
Yes.
So, in conclusion, sir, I want to understand from your understanding, this International Women's Day, is it any more, therefore, how important is it to you as an individual and as an expert in social development?
One International Women's Day, first of all, the rationale for this International Women's Day was to try and bring out issues and how women have come to the light and try to address the challenges that women are actually going through and try to show that women can actually also perform just like men. So when we look out at the International Women's Day, we need to actually address, currently we need to address the increasing challenges that are affecting women. For example, all the girls in our communities, for example, provision of pads to these girls to ensure they come on board in education, in health, and in other businesses. And then we need to bring these women, we need to address key things that are actually affecting women or girls in our communities. For example, a girl should not stop going to school because she doesn't have pads. 2, women should not just be looked at as property. No, women should be given the opportunity to perform and work just like any other person. So these are a few things that we should kind of address to level our community in terms of addressing the challenges that are faced by the world. We're talking about women. For example, Uganda currently exports more of maids to other countries, to Arab countries and other, Saudi, Oman and others. We need to have policies in place that are actually protective to our women or our girls internationally. Because when talking about International Women's Day, what does this mean? That means we should know that Uganda, for example, the country I'm actually speaking about, should be able to ensure that their women are protected not only in Uganda but worldwide. A country like, for example, Filipinos in these other domestic workers. Philippines protects their women who go out for domestic work. They actually become supervisors. And you hear programs where such women are actually paid more than 2 or 3 times what a Ugandan person is being paid. And yet, majority, 100% of the work is being done by a Ugandan. So what we need to do is to bring every partner on board, international agencies on board, to agitate and advocate for a balanced and fair wages for women and for a better working condition for all women worldwide. Thank you.
What is your conclusion? We've been discussing women in journalism, women in politics, women in society.
My conclusion is that women are hardworking.
Start with your name and give us your conclusion.
My name is Godfrey Kimono, a seasonal journalist for around 18 years. My conclusion on this issue is that women are real hardworking people, and they have been vital to the performance and the development of our community and the country as Uganda in holistically. So what we need to know is the women should be given all the necessary support to enable them do their work effectively without any discrimination.
Well, we shall wind up with the woman member of parliament in Mbale also to talk to us about what she thinks of women in the country and particularly in her constituency, that is Mbale.
Thank you so much. My name is Honorable Miriam Muhaye, the woman member of parliament for Mbale district. I am delighted to be on the program to talk about women because indeed I represent the women of Mbale district in the parliament of Uganda. A woman is one who is born female and
grows as a girl.
Because today many have turned out to change from male to female and call themselves women. But I think in Mbale that vice has not taken on, and we pray it doesn't. And so I would look at a woman as one who is already mature, ready to give birth or has children, and is this woman who takes care of her children, her family, fends for them. Some do it alone, but others who are privileged may do it with the support of their husbands. But there are those who are in different categories that I would relate, like,
and they have very many titles. They have Mrs., they have grandmother, they have auntie. All these are names towards women.
Yeah, there are several names that we have. Auntie, grandy, senge. For us, we call them senge, kuhu. In our language, mai, yaya. There are several categories of women out there, especially in Mbale district.
And also in politics, also we have women members of parliament.
Yeah, we have women members of parliament. And we are privileged as Uganda to be given the second and third position. Highest positions in our country are the vice president is a woman, the prime minister is a woman, the speaker of the parliament of Uganda is a woman. We have, I think, 41% women who are ministers in the government, the current cabinet. And so we are privileged as women that we have been given positions of leadership to lead and voice out the issues that affect fellow women out there, because the women are indeed marginalized. They face so many challenges, and that's why when you have so many voices speaking about issues of women, we are privileged. And I want to appreciate you, Mr. Baguma, because though you're a man, but you have a soft spot for a woman.
No, this is what I'm doing as a job. That's part of my work.
Yeah, but you allowing us to talk about issues of women shows that indeed you know the efforts that a woman puts in for Uganda or for a nation to be well. They say that when you educate a woman, you have educated a nation, because a woman will always, when educated, will help others. They do not eat alone. They will always ensure that the people who are in their custody are safe, they are well, they are empowered, they are happy and satisfied. And so educating a woman is educating a nation. And as a leader, I want to encourage that women are given priority to study, so that the people who are in their custody, people whom they are taking care of, are well managed and supported to also study. However, today, and if I give a glance of what it is in Mbale district, the effects of COVID affected so many girls in my community. Some of them dropped out of school because of the challenges that were there due to COVID. They were at home. Some have given birth even when they are young. Some dropped out of school. Some got challenges of early pregnancy. Some have gotten married when they are not ready, because marriage is not just a place of excitement. You have to go into it when you're ready emotionally, when you're ready physically, when you're ready psychologically, in order for you to be able to stay in that marriage and live in it well. But many of them, girls who have gone into marriage when they are not ready, they are getting challenges. And before you know it, someone is like 22 years but has gone to 2, 3, 4 marriages. Why is that there? It's because they have gone into it when they are not ready, and so they think that maybe if I go to another marriage, I'll have peace, but we find the same challenges. So it's a big challenge that we need to address. But I want to appreciate that the government programs that are on board. One of them is the skilling hubs. For me, in Mbale district, we have a skilling hub in Luhonje sub-county that is helping the entire Bugisu sub-region, and is helping to skill some of the youths, and especially the young girls who had no hope, who had dropped out of school and gotten married at an early age. And so that program is helping the girls. And I want to encourage those out there who are able to study, who still have a heart to study, please go to school. It's only education that can equip a woman to live a better life.
Well, dear listener, that is all we prepared for you. Tonight, we focused on women as they celebrate their International Women's Day. National activities are taking place in Kiruhura in Western Uganda. I am Henry Baguma, Herbert Chigundo, Bob Brown Mugisha, together with Iga Masajage and Alium Simenta, wishing everybody happy Women's Day celebrations.
Thank you for tuning in to your voice program on UBC Radio. UBC Radio, inspiring Uganda.